We're going beyond those fluffy spa brochures, and we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of hot stone massage, right from the comfort of your own home.
Yes, the democratization of relaxation. I like it.
We've got this Amazon listing for the Mesocli Hot Stones massage set to guide us. It's a whole kit promising to bring that spa experience home.
It's interesting to consider how accessible wellness practices are becoming. It's no longer an exclusive club, and this product seems to tap into that shift.
Totally. But before we get into the specifics of this set, let's talk about hot stone massage itself. You're probably already familiar with using heat for sore muscles.
Yeah.
But what's the deal with these stones?
Well, it's more than just slapping a heating pad on your back. It's about harnessing the unique properties of these volcanic basalt stones.
Okay, now we're talking. Volcanic. Tell me more.
Imagine molten lava, cooling slowly over eons, forming these incredibly dense, heat-retaining rocks. That's basalt. It's almost like the earth itself is holding that warmth, ready to release it into your muscles.
Wow, that's a way better image than just thinking about some rocks in a heating pouch.
Exactly. And when those heated stones make contact with your skin, it's not just surface-level warmth. The heat penetrates deep into the muscle tissue, easing tension and promoting relaxation on a whole other level.
Okay, you're painting a pretty convincing picture here. So
Okay.
let's get to the Mesocli set itself. What comes in this magical box of relaxation?
This particular set features 8 black basalt stones, all varying in size. That's key because different muscles need different size stones for optimal pressure and heat distribution. You'll also get an electric heating case, sleek and convenient for preheating and storing those stones.
Oh, interesting. I did notice that massage oil isn't included. Is that typical for these kinds of sets?
It varies. Some sets will include a basic oil, but this one leaves it up to you, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can choose an oil that suits your skin type and personal preferences.
That's a good point. I like having options now. The description mentions that these basalt stones can hold heat for 25 to 35 minutes. Is that just sitting there or during use?
That's a great question. Based on the description, that seems to be the heat retention time in general, but it makes me wonder if using the stones for massage actually enhances their ability to retain heat. Maybe that constant contact and movement helps maintain the temperature.
Ooh, good thinking. I hadn't considered that. So it's not just about letting the stones sit there. They're meant to be used for actual massage as well, right?
Absolutely. And here's where the product description gets intriguing. They suggest using the stones on various areas, your shoulders, back, abdomen, even legs and arms. It's like a full body relaxation experience.
Makes sense. And speaking of full body relaxation, they also mention using massage oil with the stones. What's the thinking behind that?
It's more than just slipperiness for smoother movements. They suggest that the combination of heat and oil can improve blood circulation and lymphatic drainage. It's like giving your body's natural detoxification systems a boost.
Now, that's something you wouldn't necessarily get from a simple heating pad. So we're getting the heat therapy, the massage, and potential detoxification benefits. Sounds like a win-win-win.
Indeed. However, before we all jump on the hot stone bandwagon, there are a few things to keep in mind. The instructions emphasize boiling the stones for 10 minutes before their first use.
That makes sense, probably for sanitation purposes.
Exactly. And of course, common sense applies. We're working with hot objects here, so it's essential to be mindful of the temperature to avoid burns. Start slow and gradually increase the heat as needed.
Safety first. Always good advice. Speaking of the stones themselves, I noticed something interesting in the product description. They mentioned that there might be some imperfections and color variations. Should we be worried about that?
Not at all. Remember, we're dealing with natural stones here. They haven't been molded into perfect uniformity. Some might have slight surface variations or color differences. It just adds to their unique character.
We're embracing the imperfections, kind of like those perfectly imperfect wabi-sabi pottery pieces.
Exactly. Each stone has its own story, its own journey from those fiery volcanic depths to your massage table.
Love that. Now, we've talked a lot about the product description, but what are actual users saying about this Mesocli set?
Let's dive into those customer reviews and see what real-world experiences people are sharing. That's where things get really interesting.
And ready to unpack some of these user reviews. I always find it fascinating to hear what people are actually experiencing with these products.
It's the voice of the people, and sometimes those insights can be more valuable than any marketing blurb.
Absolutely. So, in my deep dive into the reviews, a few things popped out. One reviewer, AGM, seemed to really like the case, but pointed out something a bit puzzling. They mentioned having to preheat the stones in hot water, even though the case is electric.
That's curious, isn't it? You'd think an electric heating case would handle that. Maybe it's more for maintaining a consistent temperature during the massage, rather than heating from scratch.
That's a good point. It's almost like they're assuming a certain level of knowledge about how these things work.
Perhaps. It highlights the importance of reading those instructions carefully, even if you think you know what you're doing.
Right. Don't skip the basics. Now, another reviewer, Dragonfly Dream Reviews, I just love that name, brought up something I hadn't even considered. They emphasized washing the stones before use, because apparently there's some dye on them.
That's a detail you wouldn't necessarily glean from the product description itself. It's a good reminder that even natural materials might undergo some processing, and a little extra cleaning can go a long way.
Totally. Better safe than sorry, especially when we're talking about something that's going directly on our skin.
Hmm.
But overall, even with those little quirks, the general sentiment seems to be pretty positive.
Yes, there's a definite theme of relaxation and pain relief. People seem genuinely impressed with how these stones deliver on those promises.
Which makes me even more curious to try them out myself. Okay, so we've got the basics down, but let's move beyond just placing the stones. Are there specific techniques or tips for actually using them for massage?
Well, we're not licensed massage therapists, but we can certainly tap into some general principles and wisdom from the product description and user feedback. The idea is to use the stones as extensions of your hands, gliding them over those tense muscles.
So, not just plopping them down and calling it a day. There's an art to it then.
Absolutely. It's about rhythm, pressure, and intention. Think long flowing strokes, circular movements, even gentle tapping. You can experiment with different techniques to see what feels best for you.
That's actually really helpful. I was imagining something much more rigid and less fluid.
It's all about working with the body, not against it, using the warmth of the stones to ease tension and encourage a sense of flow.
That reminds me of something I read about how hot stone massage isn't just about physical relaxation. It can tap into something deeper, more holistic.
What's fascinating here is how these ancient practices are being rediscovered and reinterpreted in modern contexts. It's not just about kneading out knots. It's about nurturing a sense of well-being that encompasses the physical, mental, and emotional.
That's a really interesting perspective. It's almost like hot stone massage is a ritual of self-care, a way to connect with ourselves on multiple levels.
Precisely. And it's a ritual that's becoming increasingly accessible thanks to products like this Mesokli set.
Which is pretty amazing when you think about it. It's like bringing the spa experience home, but also taking ownership of our well-being.
Exactly. It's about empowering ourselves to prioritize self-care and find those moments of calm and rejuvenation in our everyday lives.
I love that.
Carving out that time and space for yourself is essential. It's a way to recharge, reset, and cultivate a deeper sense of well-being.
So it's not just about pampering ourselves, it's about investing in our overall health and happiness.
Precisely. And hot stone massage offers a unique pathway to do that. The warmth, the touch, the rhythmic movements, it all works together to create a truly immersive experience.
It's like a mini vacation for your senses. And thinking back to the volcanic origins of basalt, it's almost like we're tapping into the Earth's energy for healing and rejuvenation.
There's a certain primal connection there, isn't there? This ancient practice that has been passed down through generations, connecting us to something bigger than ourselves.
I love that. It adds another layer of meaning to the whole experience. So to our listener, as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a bit of a challenge.
Think about how integrating hot stone massage into your own self-care routine might enhance not just your physical well-being, but also your mental and emotional state.
Would you feel more grounded, more centered, more equipped to handle the stresses of daily life?
It's a question worth pondering and perhaps even experimenting with. You might be surprised at the profound impact it can have.
Absolutely. And with that, we'll leave you to explore the world of hot stone massage and discover what it means for you. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, be well.